Mine is, oh, maybe I'll just do it on the weekend and
Mm,
enjoy Thursday and Friday.
that's funny.
You have a holiday party tomorrow. They're letting everybody work from home tomorrow for the party.
Oh, nice.
So you're doing a holiday party from home?
No, at night we have a holiday
Oh,
party
Oh,
at a casino.
you know what my work did, and this was so nice, is they go out to lunch with each other. And this time we had Zoom meeting lunch and they door dashed it to me so that I could have lunch with them. And I'm
Aw,
like, that is so nice.
that's so
eh.
cool.
Yeah.
We're having a
We are live, by the way,
dessert and, oh, okay. It's all right.
just in case.
It's a nice thing about being tenured. Uh, we're having a dessert and ugly sweater contest. And
Yeah, we're gonna do that. For my group is having a session.
Are
yeah,
you
I
an
think
Ugly
ugly sweater
sweaters.
kind of guy?
not at all.
I
Not
have
at
one I wore
all.
once. Huh?
And
Guy!
Ooh, damn
so
it.
I will probably take a nap during that time.
Check your mic this time, Guy.
I'm sorry.
Check your mic this time.
Is it too loud?
No, probably a little
No,
soft.
it's good. It's fine.
It's still soft?
A little bit.
Eh,
Not too bad.
Do not understand.
Keep talking.
That's easy enough to do.
None of us talk.
Can use a
It's
little.
like screaming in my ears.
Waiting for one more.
That's weird.
Everybody's so early.
I am early to all meetings because I used to work at a
Check,
company.
check, check. 1, 2. Is it still too soft?
Now, what do you guys think?
It's way in the
think
green.
let me see. I'm about three-quarters volume, and I think he sounds fine.
I think it sounds like
Oh,
that too.
I'm about half. How do I turn this up without
Nope. No, it's
starting feedback?
I'm starting to hear a little feedback. So I think you're okay.
Hold on. So many settings, so little time. Input. 1, 2.
We got plenty of time.
Ample rate, 48 kilohertz. Everything looks
You're good.
like it's supposed to. See, I'm starting to get feedback.
Yeah, I'm hearing the feedback now.
Yeah, so am I now.
1, 2. Shit.
That's right.
Input. That's. Why can't I adjust my input in Sound Source? One, two. One, two.
I think
Son
that's
of a
okay.
bitch. What is the problem here?
Well, it must have sounded okay on my Mac.
Yeah, well, that's, and I don't have anything on in loopback.
I
I'm
think
not
you're sounding
using
okay.
audio hijack. Mm. One, two, three. Huh.
Yep, Now I'm hearing a kind of a ring.
Let me try some.
Ooh.
Oh,
That sounded painful.
that's like, sounds like Lou Gehrig.
Check, check, check. 1, 2. One, two. Why am I having so much trouble?
Because you have too many damn microphones.
That too.
I don't know if it has anything to do with that.
This one is jealous,
Well,
or the others are jealous of this one.
Sadly, I have too many microphones.
I like her.
I'm looking for one to record birds, so someday I have to talk to you about that.
Chirp,
I
chirp.
don't know. I have too many microphones. I'll end up giving some away.
I've done that.
Maybe
And
someday
then-
you'll have too many.
I bought my first mics from Guy, so
You'll have too many
I,
Apple Visions, and you'll give me one.
Did I sell you? Or did you buy them?
all right, you
Or-
sold me that mixer that our pal has now. That I sold it, gave to him.
Oh, that Alesis something.
The Behringer.
Was it a Behringer?
I purchased a. It's in a cabinet over here.
No. How do I adjust the output on this thing?
Purchased a Rode Pod mic USB.
Mhm.
Got the non-USB.
I do not like the sound of it. It was
I can't. That's what Gaz uses. I don't like the sound of it on my voice.
yeah.
Well,
I
now
just
I'm,
had
now I'm using this over the road, and I think I probably sound better.
yeah. I mean I really had to be on top of it, and
Sure.
I don't like to sit in front of a mic that close if I don't have to.
There's mine. There's mine. It's just the non with the special cover.
Oh yeah.
But
You know-
then there is the Rode Pod Master or something like that.
That's the one Jeff has.
Yeah. But that's not, I looked at it, it's not very pricey.
No, the USB one is much more expensive.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the non-USB. It only costed $100. I think the USB one costs close to 200.
oh, I got the USB one. I still don't like the sound of it.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I use it's a Shure MV7.
This is the MB7 Plus.
Mm.
Oh, I can't remember how to do this. Faders, outputs, headphones. 1, 2. All right, somebody else say something.
There you
Something.
go.
Hi.
Something.
Did that take care of the problem? So is it loud enough now?
I think so.
Oh, yeah.
Plus, I had these on low sensitivity, so it was like amplifying everything.
Oh,
Sound good now.
Not a
Yeah, I think you, Guy, I think you cured my tinnitus.
Yeah. Well, what I'd like to do is take my audio out
To
from
dinner?
this output. And I know I can do it, but it's just been so long since I've messed with any of the settings, and I don't want to do it when it's now 8 o'clock.
You'll love it. Raised my bill $5 on my internet for the first time in 2 years. They just do it and don't tell you.
Yeah, plus my mouse is like not working properly.
We're just waiting for Holden's supposed to be here. He's running a little late. I think some of you know who he is.
So are we waiting on another person?
Yeah, Holden, I think. Holden DePardo. My friend's son. There he is.
Is that my chair squeaking?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
Where's Mike?
Let's see, he has a Rode mic.
He does. That's probably the one you were thinking about.
Is that a Rode or is that a EV?
Yeah, we can't hear you yet. It hasn't connected audio.
Oh,
Zoom is still trying to connect. There you go.
Hey, how's it going? Sorry about that. I had not opened up Zoom yet on my Mac Mini, so I had to configure
Right.
some settings.
Are you on
is
the
that
mic
an
though?
EV or a Rode mic?
It's a Rode mic. Is it not connecting to that one?
I don't
told
think
it
so.
to.
No.
We
I
just
just
talk
like
mic.
I was just
microphones.
curious. We've been talking about
Now it
mics.
should.
There you go.
There
Okay.
you go.
Yeah, there's always a pretty clear difference between the AirPods and,
Yes.
and the Rode mic.
Holden,
How's it going, everyone?
I think you know everybody. I don't. Maybe not. I don't know if you know
Actually,
Marty.
I don't know. It's been a while.
There's Marty
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
we have Guy.
I love your Yum poster in the back. That's awesome.
Thanks.
That's a good one.
And this is Jill. This is
Nice to
Holden.
meet you, Jill.
Hi, I'm Jill. Oh wait,
and he's
no, no.
he's Guy. You may have maybe have not been with any. Jeff and Ben are off tonight. So
Gotcha. I think Zoom usually have been on with when I've been here. Pull up the
all right. So we're on
note right
YouTube and we're recording. Let me start audio hijack. Then we can
Hi,
get started.
YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
It's nice to be tubed. It's
We're
not
recording.
easy being tubed.
Oh, Guy.
I will try to hold the jocularity down.
Oh, you.
Oh, no.
Don't be
Not-
entertaining.
I'm not saying I'm going to be successful. I just said I'd try.
Oh, we're going to give you slow pitches over the home plate
Okay,
just so
good.
you can knock them out of the park.
There you go. Okay, what did I do? Good. Yep, real good. Bring up my notes.
Wow,
Okay,
my
I'm ready.
computer is acting
guys
so
ready?
slow tonight.
Yeah.
You ready?
I'm ready.
You ready, Guy?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2. Is
I'm switching to iPhone 16, but T-Mobile, it's built
Whoa.
for Apple Intelligence.
that me?
No, that was me. Sorry.
Okay.
That was a sponsor for the video.
T-Mobile.
I
Yeah.
wish I had T-Mobile for
Yeah.
a sponsor.
Yeah, me
Oh
too.
my God.
All right, you threw me off there. Let's start it. Let's try again. At least it was at the beginning. I have to edit
Dance.
it.
There we go.
All right. 5, 4, 3, 2. Welcome to episode 335 of In Touch with iOS, the show that talks about iPhone, iPad, Apple Watch, Apple TV Vision Pro, and related technologies. I'm your host, Dave Ginsburg, and I have a number of great guests this week. Jeff and Ben could not make it this week, but hey, we've got some great people to be here as well. First off, it's been a long while, but I'm so glad he's back. Holden DePardo's back on the show. How you doing, Holden?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me back on again.
Yeah, it's been way too long. So glad you're here. And I heard you have a new Mac Mini. We may touch on talking about that a little bit because someone else does too as well. Jill McKinley's also here, who has a new Mac Mini as well. How you doing, Jill?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me on. Sounds like your introduction is the description of my recording room. Watch, phone, iPad.
Yeah, well, same here. Vision Pro. And then Guy Searle is also here this week. Thanks for being here. How you doing?
Sure. It's great to be here.
Yes, always thrill having you as well. And last but
I don't
certainly
have
not
a new
least,
Mac Mini.
I know you don't. You're the only one.
The only one. We all have, most of us have Mac Minis. Well, that's actually pretty impressive.
It is. And Marty Gencius is also here, as he always is. Thanks for being here. How you doing, Marty?
I'm doing great, and doing it all through my new Mac Mini, Guy.
Thanks. It's nice to know that I'm inadequate. So,
Yeah, well, we got you outnumbered.
I was the inadequate one last week, or last time, so now I'm back.
Yeah.
My
The
turn.
sponsorship was only 3 Mac Minis.
Yeah.
Or 4 Mac Minis, yeah.
Yeah, we got 4 here. We got a good amount to talk about this week. We always do In Touch with Vision Pro. And we'll be hitting that in a minute, as well as Beta. Beta, some announcements got actually announced today as we record this. We'll touch a little on In Touch with Mac. Got Mac Mini discussion a little bit, and lots of news and other topics. But let's just go ahead and start off right away. And if you don't know Holden, I think Holden, you're the one. I and Marty both have Vision Pros. So
very nice. Okay.
yeah, so we've been talking about that every week, and let's talk about the beta, because the fourth beta of 2.2 Vision OS had come out, and of course it is supporting the ultra wide Mac virtual display. I installed it just yesterday. Did you get it installed as well, Marty?
Yeah, I installed it. They're calling it the RC
The
version.
RC release candidate, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I had a hard time trying to find out what was new and special about it. I did some searches, and it wasn't until later today that
Right.
I was able to pull up some material to say this is what's really going on with the issues that it's fixed. So videos in Firefox now play properly using Vision Pro speakers. There was problems with that. You can adjust the aspect ratio of the Mac Virtual Display, and it works correctly even if you're not using the default Mac display resolution. Fixed issues with Siri. It now works on the simulator, which was a problem for developers who were trying to do stuff, resolving previous functionality issues. Fixed issues with Swift UI. The tabletop, new features, direct manipulation. Users can now pick up and move equipment naturally with their hands. And then there's also a local handoff. They can transfer equipment between hands without dropping it. So you've got some real dexterity stuff. So it's often hard to find out what's new with each one of the candidates.
Yeah.
And it always frustrates me because you look at the articles and they tell you about the virtual display.
They always
Well,
are
we've
saying
had the
that.
virtual, yeah, we've had the virtual display for quite a few betas already. I
Yeah.
did read something today that said that, well, maybe it's in one of the articles that you
Yeah.
put.
Well,
that
make sure
said
you share the one that you found, because I didn't find that one that you just read off. So
Yeah, well,
Make-
this was just searching and then running content that was in the developer notes,
Okay.
basically,
all right, great.
and
Make sure we have those in
asking
the
what
notes.
was different. Yeah. So it was, I think we're going to talk about this. I heard that they're now 5K resolution. Did I see that
No,
in one of the articles?
I did not see that.
I think we were talking about the multiple screens with the sports ability.
Oh, yes,
They
yes,
talked
yes.
something about 5K or 5K ability with it. I have heard, well, I mean, if Reddit is your source of information, people are talking about the pass through is much clearer now, and that it seems to be they're seeing improvements in resolution on the Mac Virtual Display. So that just might be anecdotal. That might be people are just really digging it, or their eyes are adjusting to it. But that's what the zeitgeist is about it with each release. And of course, the standard joke: Safari is a bit snappier.
Yeah. Yeah, the article we have is in here for this topic is the added support for watching 5 sports games at once using with multi-view, and Apple did introduce that promised multi-view feature that would let sports fans watch up to 5 games at once. The multi-view feature for the Vision Pro works with MLS and MLB games, but other sports like football and hockey are not supported at this time, because Apple offers MLS and MLB games through Apple TV Plus subscription because they have partnerships with those leagues. But this update actually added the SharePlay integration, so now the Vision Pro wearers can view the live sporting events together, including multiple games at the same time. Along with the multi-view and the SharePlay features, the Vision OS 2.2 also introduced 2 new Mac virtual displays aspect ratios we have talked about. So you got 21:9 wide and 32:9 ultra wide, which is equivalent to 2 5K monitors side by side.
That's where I saw the 5K.
Is that all?
Yeah, that's all. And then the other features include the option to route audio from the Mac to the Vision Pro, and supporting support for viewing spatial photos and videos that are embedded on web pages. So they're expecting the looks like beta in general, I think Monday and December 9th, as we're recording this. So it'll be this next week. That I think all the betas will come up, which we'll talk about in just a minute. But did you have anything else that you want to add on that, Marty, on that?
No, it's exciting that they're moving this product along software-wise quickly, that it's not just kind of stagnating. And that, every time someone says that the Vision Pro is going to die an early death, you look at how developers are using it. There'll be some articles that either we talk about or we don't, about how different companies are using it. And if it's dying, man, it's taking a lot of people with them.
Yeah. So the other couple articles will go through here for the Vision Pro this week. They are going to begin selling the Vision Pro in Taiwan. That's already pre-orders have gone live ahead of the December 17th launch. So that's another country that'll be able to take advantage of the Vision Pro now, which is good, exciting to hear. So they're expanding in other countries around the world. So they've continued on with that. This was also an interesting thing about the Apple Vision Pro has completely changed how Porsche unveils sports cars in 2 ways. And this was there was no secret that the team at Porsche are fans of Apple technology, but they embrace the next gen CarPlay, and Tim Cook has mentioned them. So they're talking about being able to have a Vision with a pass-through and display system. They'll have 4K resolution for each eye, which could effectively peel back the outer layers of the sports car. So they're doing it for design and for virtual reasons. So another company, like we talked about, Marty, with that's embracing it and trying to take advantage.
I think they're jumping off of one of the apps of the year is Jig Space, which is the app that you can go in and you look it up, you'll see people are doing stuff with jet engine parts coming out and flying across the room. And I think basically Porsche has gone on to the same thing. From the description of the article, it sounds like a bunch of people, 15 people with headsets on, and they're pulling engine parts out.
Hopefully not.
And letting them float around the room.
Yeah.
What?
Don't hit you in the face. Alden, I'm just going on with the assumption you were able to, did you get to go to the Apple store and to get a demo on it, or
Yeah, I got a demo on it, and I'm relieved to hear the pass-through has improved, because I think that was one of my it wasn't terrible, but it definitely could have been stronger. So that's nice to hear that that's improved, but you were kind of saying maybe that's just, perception and not actually something that was, there's a huge step up on. But I want to buy one, but I can't justify $3,500 to get one.
A lot of
So
money.
I'm excited to see Vision and just see what Vision is like. But I think this is definitely an early platform, and I think it's going to take a while before we kind of see it come to fruition on what its mainstream potential.
Yeah, well, I wasn't going to do it at first, and I gave in since you're still learning about that. I have one now, so this got my better half's approval, so it wasn't like I just did it. So
That's important for a purchase that big.
yeah. So Jill or Guy, did you have any anything else you wanted to add on Vision Pro this week?
Yeah, I have to agree with Holden. It's at this point I can't justify getting one for various reasons. Not the least of which, if it was half off, maybe, but
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you something that's not going to be on Dave and my tombstones. He could have had a Vision Pro.
We got
I'm
to
just
tell that
glad
to
to see-
Chuck Joyner too.
Yeah.
I'm just glad
I've
to see it's
thought-
developing. I want to
Yeah.
see it go
Yeah.
forward. And even though I'm not going to buy one right now, and I'm not going to buy one probably until it's much cheaper, I'm still glad to see it go forward.
Well, just remember as well that the original Mac 128 was $10,000 in 1984, and the Lisa before then was even more than that. So
Right.
the fact that it's still out of reach for the average consumer, I don't think is going to keep Apple from continuing to develop it as a platform, especially with how much money they've gotten into it so far.
The other thing I think it's important with Vision Pro is, and this is kind of I think like a false comparison I think a lot of people have made online a false expectation people have had with Vision Pro is this is Apple's next iPhone, and I kind of view it as more of a spatial computing Mac than an iPhone. The iPhone would be glasses. So like this platform needs to exist so you can develop apps for the glasses. I think the two will kind of have to work together in the same way Macs and iPhones work together in that way. And so Apple needs to develop it for that reason. We're clearly going to see glasses at some point, however far that is. We have no idea, but Vision Pro will be absolutely vital to the success of glasses.
I think it'll be also tied in very, very closely with with iOS as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last topic I want to hit on the Vision Pro is the mixed reality hit Little Cities diorama is now out for Vision Pro. This became very popular on the Meta Quest headsets. It's now on the Apple Vision Pro. It offers an all-new version. Notably, it blends your real-world environment with a virtual city that you create. Considering the mixed reality fidelity on the Vision Pro, this would probably be one of the best versions of Little Cities. I am not familiar with this game, but I know we're probably definitely gonna have to take a look at this. And it did arrive in Apple Arcade, so if you have our Arcade subscription, you get to take advantage.
Isn't
of
it
it
another city simulator game?
Yeah, it is.
It's free.
Yeah, essentially that. Yeah.
Yeah, very similar. So there's excitement there to add some more content that we've been lacking.
Yeah.
This would be a good
The
version.
video shows some exciting things that you can do with hand movements in terms of grabbing things and moving them around, picking them up and redesigning your city.
Yep. So this is it's a good news to see some more things here. So that's Apple Vision Pro this week. Let's go ahead and move on to beta. Apple did see the release candidates of iOS 18.2, iPadOS 18.2, as well as tvOS and watchOS are all in release candidate mode here. So very close to release, as well as Mac OS Sequoia 15.2. They're all out for testing purposes, both the public betas and the developer beta. And we know the usual things we've been expecting in iOS, including the image playground, the image wand, the Genmoji, the Siri ChatGPT integration, the visual intelligence, and Siri heard me say her word. I better probably say yes, lady. And more languages is added, as well as you are going to be, if you had been testing Apple Intelligence and are opted in, you'll have access to the writing tools, the ChatGPT integration, and visual intelligence automatically. So that you'll be added to that wait list and as a developer, and hopefully we'll be able to check more of that out. So, but we got a lot of new things that are coming out. That you have the beta down there, Holden. What have you been thinking? How that's been
Oh
going?
yeah. I've been using the beta since they came out for iOS 18. I like the Genmoji feature a lot. I'm very excited to kind of see what happens once everyone has that and can share them on social media and all that. I think that'll be fun. The image playground. It seems like it can do portraits pretty well, but even then, it's not nearly as strong as something you'd get from ChatGPT or another model. But it's also running locally on the device. I don't know how much of that's going to the the server setup they have for Apple Intelligence. They use a private cloud compute or something like that. I forget what they called it. So I think like that I think could use a little bit of work, but I'm really enjoying the Gemoji. I use ChatGPT, so it's kind of nice to have my account actually like baked into that,
Yep.
into the Siri interface. I still, however, use ChatGPT with the action button just because I feel like sometimes I still want to go to the chat and talk there. But I've been really impressed actually. I think some people have been kind of harsh on the Apple Intelligence stuff, but I'm liking a lot of it. I mean, no, I know this is an 18.2, but like I like the notification summaries. I like the writing tools. I've been using all of them pretty consistently.
Nice. Well, you, Marty,
Yeah,
on the on
it's
beta?
still first gen, you know. I mean, all of this stuff is.
Mhm.
I find the messages summary to sometimes be a little too summarized. But of course, you can always just hit the button and it'll show you the whole thing, whatever it was that the other person said. So you're never going to miss something.
I also don't know if I would want it to like it's I think it's fine that it doesn't summarize it to the most exact degree possible. It's just kind of a brief overview.
Right.
And then and I think it does a good job of that. Although sometimes it the summary is the opposite of what was said or isn't like it's not right, but that those things will get worked out.
Yes.
Yep. Anything you want to add, Marty?
Yeah, Holden, I'm sorry, I'm not a fan of Genmoji. The image,
I'm not
I mean,
offended.
I like everything else that's coming out from it except Genmoji and actually Image Playground. Image Playground, when I want to choose a particular picture of a particular age, it always just offers up me 30 years ago. And that doesn't really represent me when I want me. It's kind of nice. I did a image playground of my wife, and she looks absolutely nothing like she looks now, because it pulled a picture from God knows when, earlier times. So but I do like all the other stuff, all the kind of the message summaries. I get threads of messages during the day when I'm not checking my email, and it's, this thread is going down a rat hole that I'm not even interested in the first post. And getting that tells me I can just swipe that out right away. And I take care of a whole
Mhm.
bunch of frustration. So there are things I really like about the text things that are happening with 18.2. And as I think Guy tried to say, this is this is really an initial. It'll get better.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Anything you want to
Especially,
add there,
I
Jason?
don't think,
Illustration.
does anyone
Sorry, go
believe
ahead.
that ChatGPT will be the heart of this forever, or that Apple is working on their own artificial intelligence program?
I
Or
have
Apple
a
Intelligence.
I think it'll be both. I think what will end up ultimately happening is that there's a lot of models that exist, not like as many as there are apps or anything like that, but I think it might be warranted at a certain point to open up the app store where you can download like or have like a section of the app store dedicated to these AI agents because some of them are tailored for more specific experiences and I can see them incorporating that into writing tools. So like I've written some scripts just for personal hobbies and I find that if I use ChatGPT to like work with that, it doesn't quite know how to work with a script, but there are agents where I think they call them agents within ChatGPT or different GPTs that
Yeah.
are like screenwriting based. And I wouldn't be surprised if in the future we can kind of like have things like that built into the writing tools downloaded from the App Store. So if I'm working on a screenplay or I'm coding, like those writing tools will be tailored for those kinds of writing experiences. So I think it'll expand. And then Apple will also do their own thing for privacy reasons.
And
Yeah,
I've
I
been
Plus,
have
they don't play well with others all the time.
Not always, but they have to now because the antitrust stuff.
Yeah. Let's bring Jill in here. What's your final thoughts on this?
I'm primarily been interested in the writing aspects of it because writing is just not my forte, and it's been great. And I can't wait till other third-party apps start hooking into this ability. It's nice, with you having it with Notepad and other mail types of apps that come with it. But I'm looking forward to it being integrated more because I think it does help me write better. In fact, I did a podcast and I was trying to write the blog article and I was just struggling, and somehow ChatGPT brought the whole thing together and really had some insights about something I said, and I went, "Hey, that's pretty good." So I could never have written that, and it knew something, about what I said better than I knew. So I liked it.
The ChatGPT integration into the writing tools is also really fantastic. You can do a lot with that.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, my fantasy about this is more down Guy's train of thinking. I think Apple is training ChatGPT's replacement, and it's Apple. Because the way it's set up, things that Apple doesn't answer or doesn't feel like it can answer, it offers you to go out to ChatGPT. It makes your contact information anonymous. It goes out to ChatGPT. ChatGPT generates an answer, goes to Apple, and then comes back to you. I think Apple's learning what it doesn't know by what people are doing to go out to ChatGPT, and they'll build on that for their infrastructure. So there'll be less reliance on it. And Holden, you brought up the idea of agents. I think little I know about those are very cool. They're like people that work for you that you tell them, this is what I want you to do. You send them out and do their thing, and then they come back with their specific task, and then it's all incorporated into whatever you want to do. And I think that's maybe where you'll be able to see opportunities to buy through the App Store those kinds of patches that fit in with AI.
And then Apple will get that great 30% cut on
Yeah.
anything related.
Yeah. So
What?
Well,
Apple? No.
They're a charity.
yeah. That's
In Europe, they are.
yeah.
Maybe not for long. Who knows?
Yeah. So that's iOS 18 and 18.2 as well as iPadOS 18.2. Just briefly mention tvOS is going to be out soon. That's 18.2. Not much to talk about there. watchOS 11.2. One notable thing that was discovered that they are going to be able to do is now watchOS 11.2 is going to let you pause iPhone video with the camera remote app. It's a new useful feature that allows you to pause the video that you're recording on the iPhone using the camera remote app on the Apple Watch. Camera remote apps have been on basically since the watch has been launched, but there was never an option to start and stop video recording because you want to pause and play, continue recording the video. So then they've now added this feature in watchOS 11.2, so that's going to be kind of exciting to see how that works. If you are using it as a remote control, you don't have to have something else other than the Apple Watch to do that. That pretty much is it about beta this week. Again, it's going to get released next week as we record, probably around December 9th. We're anticipating, so we'll see some of the new things here when it comes to that. So, with that, I want to go a little bit of In Touch with Mac this week. One thing I wanted to talk about here, this was just written up the other day here. Apple releases an iCloud Passwords add-on for Firefox. Now, Apple now has a dedicated iCloud Passwords add-on designed for the Firefox browser, which means Firefox users can access passwords and logins stored in the Passwords app or iCloud keychain when using the Firefox on the Mac. Extension is being distributed by Apple, but it appears it was originally created by a third-party developer and then later taken over and updated by Apple. With the iCloud Passwords extension, passwords stored in the iCloud keychain can securely be filled automatically when signing into websites in Firefox. New passwords created in Firefox are also saved to the iCloud keychain. And this is pretty interesting to see that Apple decided to partner up with Firefox, Mozilla, for all places to do that. So, what do you think, Holden, on this?
I use 1Password, so I won't be using this
Yeah.
myself. But
I do
of
too.
all
And
things,
both.
yeah, 1Password's fantastic. It's interesting that Apple would work with a third-party company for something so private. But I guess it's still going to be secure, I'm sure. But it's just interesting that you don't usually see them working with companies like that to begin with, but let alone for something so personal.
Yeah, agreed. How about you, Guy? What do you think on this?
Doesn't surprise me. I think I don't want to go as far as to say Apple is trying to Sherlock 1Password, but they're kind of going down a road where, especially as more and more people jump on the M series Mac bandwagon, that as future operating system upgrades go, there's going to be less and less of a need for the average user to use 1Password. I mean, as it stands right now, because it's ambiguous with my phone and my iPad and my Mac, and I don't have to sit there. Oh, crap! Hold on, let me type in my 1Password password so that I can get to this stuff. It's just all kind of works. So I can see at least for myself, possibly not using 1Password going like in maybe not too near future. And I hate to be that Apple fanboy, but if it's working for every single thing that I'm trying to do, then why am I maintaining two separate applications that do the same thing?
Yeah,
I'm preparing for the day where I will
Yeah.
get away from 1Password, but I store documents securely there. And I can't do that currently anywhere else that I feel I trust. So for right now, I think it's going to be the race of 1Password. Can I find other ways to be incredibly useful to you instead?
Well, can't you also do that in like Notes?
There
Through
are
iCloud?
other things I could do for
Secure
sure.
Notes, yeah.
Yeah, but also I use the Brave browser, which there's no
True.
so I'm still integrated with 1Password and
I
Brave.
like the Brave browser. I use that with StreamYard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Chromium. Go ahead, Mike.
I'm happy to see this on Firefox because it gives me an alternative that I have to be reminded that it's a good solid browser for. And some of the programs that we run, your only other choice besides Chrome is Firefox. So I'm glad that it's there. I pay for 1Password every year, and I'm
So do I.
using it less and less, particularly with this password integration. And I think I started shutting those down because I had multiple password apps running. And it was like, I try to sign into something, this time 1Password pops up with it. Then the next time another one, and sometimes both of them pop up. So I'm
Both.
closing more options than none. So
Yeah.
I've just kind of gone with what's in the Apple ecosystem, and it's not causing me problems right now. So.
Yep. All right.
The one thing that 1Password has that I just like it too much is the key command, the command shift space bar to have. It's kind of like Spotlight search, but for your passwords. I use it all the time. I don't think iCloud Passwords has that. That'll kind of be the moment where I feel like I'd have to switch. But it also seems silly to pay for 1Password for that very, very, very small convenience.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's so great.
It is. I've been a 1Password customer for a long time.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, but it's like storage closets. Once you sign on and start throwing stuff in it, it's like, oh, I got to pay this monthly bill every month or this annual bill because where am I going to put all my stuff?
Yeah.
Some of the stuff I haven't gone to look at for 8, 9 months. So how much do I really need it?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So let's talk about the Mac Mini some more. We have been talking about it for the last few weeks since I bought 2 of them, and I would be interesting to hear how Jill and Holden's experiences have been with their Mac Mini so far. When did you get yours, Holden, and how has it been the experience so far?
I got mine, so I configured mine, so I had to wait a little while, but I only ended up waiting like a weekend, and then it arrived the Monday after launch.
What'd you
So
get?
I got the M4 Pro with 48 gigs of RAM and 1 TB storage.
Nice.
So I'm planning on having this thing for a very long time. The RAM felt excessive, but I don't know where we're going with these large language models, and I can see those being very, very RAM hungry. So I wanted to be prepared for that.
And so far, good experience.
It's incredible. Yeah, it's great. This is my first desktop. I've never had a desktop computer before. I've always had laptops. And the thing that really hit me is how much more convenient it is to have a desktop in the sense of my camera and my microphone are just always connected. I don't have to like reassemble everything when I bring my laptop back to my desk. And I just was using my iPad more when I was away from my desk anyway. So it just kind of felt like it's time to try a desktop. And it's very versatile with how small it is and what you can hook up to it, and it's a fantastic experience so far. It's very powerful too. It's very snappy, just like Safari.
Nice.
The new version of Safari, it's just so snappy.
I went with the base model my first machine was the M4 Pro with the 24 gigs of RAM and then 512, but still zippy as all heck. And then my second one was the base model, the M4, the 256 with 16 gigs of RAM as a beta machine. So, Jill, what did you get? Which model did you buy?
Yeah, I found my old Mac Mini, which was an M1 with 8 GB of RAM, was greatly
had that one.
underpowered. And now I'm starting to get into video recording, editing, and things just took forever. So I ended up getting just the M4, not the Pro, with 24 GB of RAM because RAM is really where I was choking on my previous machines. And 512 memory. And this thing is just a beast. It's handling everything. Before I used to have to close everything down in order to get anything to now nothing. I don't have to close anything. And it's been great. And the same thing that Holden said, having a desktop machine instead of my laptop that I'm carting around all over the place, just sits here. It's always set up. Perfect.
Yep, that's my debate right now. On this machine I've been using for years is my M1 Pro, MacBook Pro 16-inch. Very, very good machine. And still didn't get great performance out of it. But it's not an M4, so it'd be interesting to see where I go, or maybe I make the Mac Mini my daily driver, and just maybe I'll sell this. I have a MacBook Air, so that could be my laptop. So we'll see where I go with that. Marty, you just bought the base model Mac Minis, if I remember correctly.
No, I got the M4 Pro 24. I got
that's right. You and I got the same thing. I remember.
And 512. And I've been loving it. And it is currently sitting on my desk on top of a Studio Ultra One that I have not turned on in 3 weeks. And I'm thinking, I bought this to take to my office, and I thought my office doesn't deserve this computer. I'm just going to let them give me my Dell Windows computer, and it'll stay in my office. And I've been running and trying to run everything through this. Now, the last couple of days have been difficult because I've had to do a lot of video editing, in the sense that I had to pull some things out of video that I already posted that I needed to get out, and to make sure I was all clear with Apple and fine with Apple. And today I was running it, and it got a little slower than what my initial runs with it. So 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 24 minutes to kind of do some conversion on video. Like I've always said, that's a cup of coffee, that's a lunch break. But my thinking now is we'll see what happens with the ultra releases, if they're going to do an ultra release. And I might just say, I don't need a Porsche. What I've got here on my desktop is good enough. I might go back and buy a second one that's got more RAM in it, maybe more space, and get a little more power out of it, and use that as my desktop and have the second one for travel or whatever.
Yeah. So,
Have you
yeah,
guys
no,
used it with the Vision Pro? How is that? How has that been?
Yeah.
Oh, it's amazing. And I've used it without a monitor hooked up to it at all. And
Yeah.
great experience. I mean, it just connected. There's my screen, the Vision Pro, and it's the ultra wide 32 virtual display. And yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, because
I
I've only
took it
done
on Thanksgiving.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I took it on Thanksgiving trip with me. Did bring a standalone flat screen, one of those carry in your backpack monitors, just because I wanted it to be able to do some heavy work while I was there. But it worked great. It worked great.
That's the thing. Traveling with this thing could be more attractive because it's so small. You know, I know it's still a little overkill, and obviously a lot of people prefer laptops. But I think Apple really hit it out of the park with this new model. I really think they did.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So let's move on to steer away from the Mac Mini. But great to get this good conversation. But I wanted to talk a little bit about using private Wi-Fi addresses on Apple devices. I discovered this the fact that if you're not familiar, Apple did introduce a enhanced privacy and security that has private MAC addresses and rotating MAC addresses, and those features. Of course, we know they did that to protect our privacy. But what'll happen is it makes you have a problem when you go to a set Wi-Fi access point, and sometimes you go to that place frequently. There might be someone's place that you go to frequently. You don't want to have to keep registering, especially at hotels or that. If it changes, sometimes you can register it and let it hold for maybe 3, 4, or 5 days if you're traveling. Well, a lot of folks who have the hotels and a lot of other businesses and places like that have their public Wi-Fi, but they keep it secure because you have to register. You're using the captive Wi-Fi registration. And what happens is then you got to register again because the privacy is in place, which, hey, I commend Apple for doing that. And I'm all for the privacy and protection. And I really think it's awesome that you can do random MAC addresses, because once you get a hold of someone's MAC address, yeah, you know what your MAC address is on your device. But now you can do this randomly. I put a link in the show notes for this. Was a support article from Apple about how to use that and how to turn the feature on and off if you needed to do that. So basically what you have to do is, and this applies to the iPhone, the iPad, the iPod Touch, as well as the Apple Vision Pro. You go into the settings and you go tap into Wi-Fi. If you're currently connected to the network, you tap the edit in the right corner of the screen, tap more info next to the network name, and then you can do the configure this setting. If you're in the iOS 18, iPadOS, or Vision Pro, you tap private Wi-Fi address, and then you tap off. This gives you the option of being able to turn this off. I didn't realize you had the option to be able to turn this off, and I think this is in a pinch, if you have to do it, at least you have that option. And this article talks about the Mac as well as an Apple Watch, including the rest of the other devices I just mentioned. So I thought I'd mention this. I thought this was a interesting information to what Apple's doing with this. But at least you have that option. If you're going to stay in a place that you want to stay on the Wi-Fi in a public Wi-Fi setting for 3 or 4 days, if you have to turn it off, because the problem is if you don't turn it off, it's going to force you to register again quickly and give you a bit of a challenge. So what do you think on this, Holden?
I don't have too much thoughts about it because I don't travel a whole lot, so I'm pretty much always at the work Wi-Fi or the home Wi-Fi. But it's good to have options. Surprising when Apple gives you options sometimes.
Yeah, so I thought this was interesting. Anybody else want to add anything onto this on this topic? It was
well, the important thing is to remember that unlike a lot of Apple's other privacy features, at least this is one you can turn off if you need to.
Right. If you need to, right. But at least you have it. I mean, compare it to Android. That'd be rare you'd have something like that. Anybody want to add anything?
What advantage does this have over just the VPN?
Well, I mean, I think it's adding that enhanced privacy without the need of using VPN. But if you do use, I think some of us do. I assume you do, Marty, with VPN on your iPhone. That's going to be a protection right there. you'd hope that the
Yeah,
Wi-Fi.
I'm not asking it as a challenge. It's really,
No, I know.
I don't know the answer to that question. Yeah, but yeah, okay, cool.
But I can give you an example. At my last company, we had Wi-Fi that was password secured, and we were not allowed to use a VPN on it, or they would block us from using that. And so it'd be nice at my work company if someone learned my IP address and try to reverse
Right.
engineer my address. This would just be a nice security method for me to, or public at airport with the password.
Yeah. So just thought it was an interesting discovery I made on this, and the links in the show notes if anybody has any inquiring about it. So the other things I wanted to hit on here was let's talk a little bit about receiving RCS messages on your iPhone. RCS messages, that was such a big debate over between the green bubble and the blue bubble, and we can't communicate with Android users. Let's face it, we have friends. We allow them to have Androids. Let's face it.
They know who they are. Yeah,
they know who
We're
they
just
are.
good people.
We're just good people.
Sometimes. Yeah.
So it was quite a it came last year, and after a lot of persuasion from Google, especially, that they've been
And the
championing
EU.
and the EU was another push. Now RCS adoption worldwide. So the biggest keys now, you can have higher quality photos and videos sending it through RCS, larger file sizes for attachments, audio messages, improved group chats. Oh my God, that's proven all by itself. It's amazing when you're chatting with somebody who's on Android, and then all of a sudden you see them, they're replying like we can see normally in messages on the iPhone. So now you can do that, and you can do location sharing. You can be part of a group. So that really did. This was the good thing that it bridged the gap, which was because it was a lot of things were exclusive to the Apple devices. Like I said, the infamous green bubble effect, as they called it. And now RCS attempts to eliminate that disparity, making a more unified message. They didn't change the color though, so it's still green bubble. You're
So
going to know
they're
that's
still
an
getting
Android
green
user.
bubbles?
yeah.
They're still getting
yeah.
green bubbles? Well,
And
that's what you
and
get
Apple
for
does,
complaining.
yeah, and Apple does give the option to turn it on or off if you needed to. So if you wanted to do that, but that's all security.
Right. And also remember that here in the States, depending on what carrier you're using, you have to wait until your carrier turns on RCS as well.
Right. The carrier has to be it. But if you're with the big three, T-Mobile, Verizon, or AT&T, you have no problems. Some of the MVNO providers I know, Mint Mobile is finally getting it, if they haven't already got it already. And some of the other MVNO carriers are following suit. So it's good to see that they're adopting it. So just a good overview of what RCS is all about and why it's so important. I think that Apple finally embraced this, don't you think?
I do wish that it was, and maybe it changed in a more recent beta, and I just didn't pay attention. But it'd be really great if it worked with group messaging, because that's where I really want it the most is group messaging.
Agreed.
I don't have a lot of people that I know that have Android phones, except for this one group chat that I'm in, where there's just the one person.
Yeah.
So like the whole like chat is like brought down because we give him a hard time about it all the time. And he'll never buy an iPhone, so we just have to wait for RCS group chat. So once that happens, I'll be really excited. But it's nice to see anyway. I mean, I never understood why Apple was so reluctant to do RCS outside of it, going through Google servers. I'm not sure if that was negotiated on and they do something special for them. Who knows? But it's been a long time coming.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And how can you tell if you're using RCS? It will actually simple way of sending is in the message app. You'll see RCS at the top of the conversation window as soon as you type the number of someone who's not using an Apple device. And then where's the future? Apple isn't going to just stop at implementing RCS. They plan on working with Google and other members of the the GSMA, Global Systems for Mobile Communications Association, to further improve the RCS standard worldwide. So if anything would happen here, you're getting Apple of all the big companies getting involved here to make that the RCS is going to evolve even more with this. don't you think?
Well, I lost my last last Android friend because my brother switched over to Apple, so now I just don't even need it anymore.
That's the best. That's the best solution right there.
It is, really is.
Yeah, just go with all Apple people.
Yeah, just to decide your friends based on which phones they have.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm part of a mixed family where half of us have Android and half of us have Apple. And after this Thanksgiving get together with about 30 people, my nephew from the Philippines and I sat down and said, let's forget this. Let's just do a WhatsApp group. And so we got everybody on a WhatsApp group. So we're now uh, non-denominational as far as our phones are concerned.
I thought you were going to abandon your family, but okay, that works.
Yeah.
He held an intervention first. It wasn't successful, and he just got to move on.
Yeah. So another thing I wanted to hit on is this article was out a couple weeks ago here, but I thought it's still pertinent to talk about. We just talked about the Mac Mini, and this is kind of a perfect companion, as we consider it as a perfect companion device to the Apple Vision Pro. But you got to get the right battery pack. That's a big problem here because you're going to need some way to power the Mac Mini, or unless you want to be sitting by a power outlet all the time. Well, they found this no-name product. It's called from the Papapoya store, and I question that, but still, I think I thought it was interesting to see if it's the type of product that potentially could be something that you can do as basically it's a portable laptop power bank. It's 100 watts of AC power. It's got the AC outlet. It goes at 72 watts. That's 20,000 milliamps, and then a portable charger as well for your laptop. It's a mouthful, but basically you're creating yourself a portable Mac Mini, and this battery is basically the size of the Mac Mini. You're starting to see more bases and hubs and things like that are out there. They're much smaller than the old style Mac Mini. But you were just talking about this in with Vision Pro previous there. But this is something you could possibly do, seeking getting a battery like this. I think it's still going to be a while yet before you're going to find a good one. This one, I think it's not even available anymore. So probably this article generated so much interest that I don't think it's in stock anymore. So what do you think on this, Marty? I know we had talked about this previous, but I thought I missed it.
I think it's cool. I mean, I've got some 100-watt. That makes me think whether or not I can try and power my Mac Mini with it. Just to go to a coffee shop and sit in the middle table,
Yeah.
as far away from an outlet, and just power that sucker up with your Vision Pro headset on. Do it just for that. I think it's pretty cool. I'd like to see more product following the design, and I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, it's got 25 ratings reviews on Amazon. That's 4.5 stars. So
Yeah, it's going to be
Complain
available
about it.
January 19th through the 21st, so they haven't even thought about making mine yet.
Yeah. So I'll still have a link in the show notes to take a look at that and maybe purchase it from Amazon. So
Well, I think you all are making a terrible, terrible mistake, and that you should go with a reputable company like Temu.
Temu.
Very high quality, always on brand.
Exactly.
That serious look on that guy's face why we're cracking up there. Oh my gosh, you're too.
This
funny.
does sound good for an airplane. Like if you think about using a laptop on those little trays on a plane, it's always terrible. I'm always so afraid that the person will go back and crush my laptop screen. Well, when I had a laptop at least. So I feel like this would actually probably be the best way to use your Mac on a plane.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So-
actually have something like this, and I camp with it, and so I'm sitting in my little tent with all my nerd stuff, and it's great.
That does sound great.
all her nerd stuff.
Well, I just pushed the button on it, so I'll.
Oh, you
I'll
ordered
let
it.
you
Yes.
know.
Well, it won't be for a while.
How many hours do you get out of battery life on that pack? I'm curious.
I thought it was
20
couple
minutes.
hours.
20
20
minutes.
minutes.
20 hours. That's pretty good.
Yeah. So I think this could be considered quite a concept for the future.
Yeah.
For the Mac Mini, I think, because of the sheer size of it. So I'd be curious to see where that goes. So couple other things I want to talk about. This is one of the biggest things that drives me crazy with the Apple Watch. So the Smart Stack on your Apple Watch it's a clever thing here, and the collection of widgets that can be pulled up with the scroll of the digital crown shows you a lot of relevant information throughout the day. But sometimes its eagerness to help is a bit much, and I agree that when it comes to live activities, whenever you raise your wrist, and if I'm playing something, whether it be like YouTube TV, I'm watching it on my phone, and all of a sudden that Smart Stack comes on my watch. I don't want to look at that. I want to look at my watch face. So that's the delivery tracking system. What does it does that with the Apple TV as well as your iPhone if you're watching video. Like I said, I was watching YouTube TV. It does it. So what you can do is you actually can toggle off the switch next to auto launch live activities just by going into the settings in your Apple Watch, tap Smart Stack, select live activities, and then switch it to the switch next to auto launch live activities. You can turn that off. Live activities will still be available in your Smart Stack when you want them, but you have to manually scroll over to them instead of having them pop up automatically. So to me, that kind of drives me crazy. I haven't turned them off yet, and I think I'm going to do that right now or soon to get that done. So anybody was aware of that?
You
Yeah,
sent
I
me the
turned it
notes
off
and
immediately when
switched it.
Yeah. So check that out. The articles that they're in the show notes with the steps as well. So other thing I want to talk about here. Do you know the iPhone SE is now 1,000 days old? It's been that long since Apple released the SE, which was in March 8th, 2022. So that's over 2 years ago. Almost 3
It
years
still
now,
has a
getting
home
close.
button, doesn't it?
And it still has a home button. If we remember, I had the original SE, that small little guy. I think, did you have that guy, or did your wife have that small SE?
My wife still has one with the home button, and I'm trying to talk her into joining the 21st century, but she's resisting so far. So she likes the home button, and I don't, I think Face ID is just so much easier to use. I don't know. She's still, I think it's a Gen 2 that she's on as well. And
Okay.
I get the feeling
at least you got the Gen 2.
Yeah.
Gen 1 would be a little long in the tooth.
That when the next one comes out, the next iPhone SE comes out, that the home buttons, that's going to be like the last gasp of the home button is the second gen SE. So she's going forward, she's going to have to make the decision to just get a newer phone. Because she also doesn't like the great big phones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, understandable. But you still can get, an iPhone 16. It's the small size, and it's not terribly much bigger than that one. But the rumor has it is the SE4 is going to probably be powered by an 818 Bionic chip and much more RAM, 8 gigs. And of course, the major change would be the USB-C, getting away from the Lightning connector, and maybe some camera upgrades in the horizon. But I think Apple would be smart to update this model only because there are consumers out there who just don't want to spend the money on the more expensive 16.
Yep.
I don't say I blame them. I mean, this is probably going to start like around $499. I would anticipate they're probably that's usually their price point on the SEs. But if you're looking in the market today for one, I would say wait. Like the article says.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Don't even.
Yeah, I'm waiting. This is a travel phone for me because I don't want to take my big honking expensive phone somewhere where I'm going to be with crowds or in a large city and with the risk of it being stolen or whatever. This is less of a risk in terms of theft and easily much more portable. It'll take my ecosystem with me so I can still use my ecosystem off that phone, but without all of the other stuff that goes with it. So
yeah. So
the value proposition compared to the 15 and 14 is huge too. I mean, talking about having an A18 chip for $500, 8 gigs of RAM. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's that's like, why would you buy a 14 at that point unless you really want the additional camera? But I feel like if you're buying a 14, latest and greatest isn't really what you're going after anyway. Or a better
Yeah.
camera system is what you're going after anyway. You're really going more for longevity and just getting something for cheap and having it last as long as possible. And it's going to be a steal for a while, but it will also be available probably for more than 1,000 days.
So
So
do you think that the screen size on a new SE is going to be as big as the smaller 14 or 15?
I think yes, because it'll probably be more cost effective to use the same chassis as opposed to having an assembly just for like a 13 mini chassis or something like that to bring a smaller form factor. That'd be my guess at least.
Yeah, that makes sense. So, wait till we hear next year. That's all. I think that'd be a good tip for you to don't be going out and buying a new SE right now. All right, let's get some of the news here this week before we wrap up. Let's talk a little bit about Tim Cook. He opened up about some AI plans, about Vision Pro's future, as well as more he talked about in an interview with Wired Magazine. It was an in-depth interview and asking questions about AI, Vision Pro sales, pre-recorded keynotes that they do, and more. He has a couple quotes he has in here, like right now the technology is good enough where we can deliver it to the people and change their lives. That's what they're focused on. We keep pulling the strings to see where it takes us. So he gets real deep into a lot of this stuff, and one of the big things that he said, they asked him if the Vision Pro ultimately headed towards mixed reality glasses like Meta and Snap. And then he said, yes, it's a progression over time in the terms of what happens with form factors. AR is a huge deal. With Vision Pro, we've progressed to what is clearly the most advanced technology we've ever done. And I think the most advanced technology in the world in terms of electronics problems, and we'll see where it goes. So to me, I can keep going on here, but there's a lot of, I'm not going to be reading everything here, but to me, that sounds to me that they're all in with Vision Pro. And,
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
With this,
Yeah.
it's not going to go like the way of the Newton.
One thing that's funny is people go on about like the haters online kind of go on about how it hasn't been selling that well, yada yada. But it seems to be pretty much in line with everything we were expecting before. Because we always kind of got through the rumor channels to like this is the expectation of sales for Apple Vision Pro, and it seems like it's in line with what we were kind of hearing through those rumor chains before. So I feel like Apple's happy with what they're seeing with Vision Pro. I mean, they must know that a $3,500 headset's not going to sell like an iPhone or even a Mac. I mean, they know that, but they can't come out and say at the announcement it's a magical device, but only for hobbyists and early adopters and no one else. They're not going to come out and say it like that.
Well, remember as well that Apple doesn't release sales figures. So anyone who's making specific claims about sales figures for the Vision Pro doesn't, they don't know their ass from a hole in the ground because there are no sales figures.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, one other thing that was interesting, they asked and they queried, will Apple ever return to live presentations? Of course, they learned during the COVID pandemic that the audience is primarily online and very few people can fit into the theater, and they wanted to have more people engaged in the announcement itself. So you can do that a lot more productively on tape, and then you can do live because of the transitions on stage and so forth. Tim Cook did say that he does miss it. Yeah, he does miss it a lot. But he says that he's asked about how long he sees himself as remaining as Apple CEO. He says, now more than I am used to. And then he says, and I'll do it until the voice in my head says it's time. And then I'll go focus on what my next chapter looks like. But it's hard to imagine life without Apple because my life has been wrapped up in this company since 1998 and the overwhelming majority of my adult life. And so I love it. So, go ahead.
I don't, he's not the showman that Jobs was, but then who could be? It's, when you look at these pre-manufactured presentations that Apple has been doing for the last 4 or 5 years, it also allows them to completely control the message and the medium. So that allows Apple to say, okay, well, we're not going to have mistakes like a camera suddenly, crapping out in the middle of a keynote. because if it doesn't work, we just throw it off to the side and get another one and take two. So the fact that, I have to question whether Apple will ever go back to live presentations, other than maybe like a big, huge new product announcement, that kind of thing. But I think for the most part, what we've been seeing is that's what we're going to get going forward.
I have to say, I really like Tim Cook, and it's the whole reason I moved over from Windows to Apple. There were a lot of decisions that were made in the past, like we're not going to put a CD-ROM in because it will affect the look of the machine or something like that.
Yeah.
And I haven't had any of those with Tim Cook. I just, every time he comes up with a decision, or Apple comes up with a decision, I think great leadership. And so I'm excited about that article, but I'm excited, for him to continue because I think he's moved it forward.
It's what he does.
Mm-hmm. He has been so important behind the scenes for a while. I mean, he is the reason, like when Apple has maybe not for every product, but like, from manufacturing to a customer buying the product, it's like a week turnaround. And that's because of Tim Cook and his operational success. And he was able to scale up Apple in a way that Steve Jobs, I don't think, could have. Because Steve Jobs kind of can't get out of his own way sometimes, for better or worse. He's not, Tim Cook's a better logistics person. And I think that's kind of what Apple needed at that moment. And Steve handed the reins over before anyway. I mean, obviously for health reasons, but it was Steve's pick. And I think he's done an incredible work. I feel like the transition to Apple Silicon was so solid. And it was such a great move on Tim Cook's part. And I feel like he doesn't get enough credit for that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Great. All right, a couple more news stories before we wrap up here. Apple Card savings account has got another interest rate cut. So Apple and Goldman Sachs have announced this actually happened a couple days ago here, as of this week, that another rate cut. We're down to 3.90% APY, down from 4.10. Not a drastic decrease there, but hey, just the way things go with the banking world and the Federal Reserve, the lowering interest rates, and they have to adjust and all that stuff. So no surprise here that this is happening again, and we still have to wonder, when is this partnership going to ever end? Because they were talking about this for getting close to 2 years now, that it was going to
when Apple
possibly
becomes
end.
its own bank.
Right.
It might be tough.
Yeah, I woke up this morning to this news.
Yep.
And, that was one of the first things that popped up on my phone. And I just was, I just wish we had a worse, a economy that was worse, because then the interest rates would go up and I'd make more money. Can't we get back to the old days when we had bad economies and high returns? And
Make America worse again. That's the new slogan.
It's okay if everybody else is miserable as long as my interest rates are high.
Yeah.
So that is what it is there. Another story here, that your Apple Music Replay yearly recap for 2024 is now available. Apple does this year in review montage for the year, and view yours at replay.music.apple.com or Apple for Apple Music subscribers. New to this year is in the Apple Music app on iOS 18 or later. You can now tap to watch their replay without even leaving the Music app. While Apple Music Replay will continuously tracks the music you are listening to all year round in a monthly playlist. At the end of the year, it also debuts a yearly recap. It's a carousel featuring all the different genres you've listened to and what was the most you've listened, how many hours, what songs you listened to. And somehow my wife is still linked to my music account because Taylor Swift came up again.
Well, I have a HomePod for my pet bird, and he apparently likes Amy Grant and Madonna, loves pop rock and show tunes. So I watched his favorite rehits this year.
Only we could combine them.
Nice. So if you want to see what you listened for the year on Apple Music, there's your option there. Anything? All right. And finally, we you have another driver's license support wallet that's expanding. Now that any users who live in the state of New Mexico are now able to add their driver's license and IDs to the Apple Wallet app on the iPhone or the Apple Watch. New Mexico residents can now add their state ID and on the wall, opening up, tap the plus button, follow the instructions. As we know, the digital IDs can be used at select TSA checkpoints across the United States, and use it as a form of identification. But you know what? I still, to this day, I would probably still keep my physical driver's license on me at all times. I like to be
You
able
really
to pull
want
it
to
out.
drive a cop crazy? Put your driver's license on a Apple Watch Ultra, and don't have your physical one, and say, no, look, it's right there. There it is. That's my driver's license.
Yeah.
Do they have to take
Glasses,
your
old
watch to
man.
the car, like in the back? Like they take
Yeah.
your watch.
Yeah. Yeah. So currently in the United States, you have Arizona, Colorado, Georgia, Maryland, Hawaii, California, Ohio, Iowa, and New Mexico. So Marty, have you done it?
Oh yeah, I've got it and have not looked at it since I put it on.
How many
Really?
times have you been arrested for speeding? And you had to present it.
Yeah, I haven't had no reason to pull it out.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So other states are pending implementation is Connecticut, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Utah, Montana, and West Virginia are looking to implement that. So none of the big states yet. Illinois is still missing, my home state.
Nope, nothing in
Mine-
I don't think
Virginia.
Rhode Island has it. I don't think
No, Rhode Island doesn't.
Wisconsin has it.
No, we don't have it.
no.
I don't think we have it.
So
do we?
Wisconsin does not have it, right?
Yeah, we don't.
So, oh well.
How long
And-
ago did they announce this? It was a few years ago.
Oh, it's been
Oh, yeah.
at least 4 years.
Oh, four.
Very least.
I guess governments just don't move as fast as technology for some reason.
They don't. Although Illinois is starting to become more, it's becoming more progressed because now we have a younger Secretary of State now, so he's been implementing a lot of technology change. So
You'd
See
think
what
that
happens.
that more states would want to jump onto this, though, because I'm assuming it probably streamlines a
Yeah.
lot of processes on their end.
oh yeah, for sure.
Marty, do you know what it's like to renew a license? Is it the same exact process, or do you do that through the phone now? I haven't looked into the wallet stuff too much because
Oh
it's not
no,
local,
no,
but-
this just gives you an alternative. It's not
Alternative.
it's not an
Yeah.
official state sanctioned kind of
Gotcha. Okay.
license.
Yeah.
It's just
Real ID.
yeah,
Gotcha.
'Cause-
Okay.
yeah.
We had to get our IDs converted and reapply to become so it made my ID a real ID, so it complied with TSAs. If you didn't do that, then you wouldn't be able to be using it as a form of identification. You would have to
Yeah,
use
well, they
passport.
keep pushing the date for that back.
Oh, they sure do.
I still haven't
Mm-hmm.
gotten mine converted.
Okay, well, see what happens in your fine state of Virginia.
Right. Well, I got one more year. My next birthday, I have to have it done.
Me too. Me too.
There you go.
I've been putting it off because I don't know what their policy is, if I'll have to retest or anything with my current conditions. And, as it stands right now, everything's great. I can use my existing license and everything's fine. So, we'll see what happens next year.
For sure. All right, let's go ahead and wrap up for this week. What a great show. So glad to have our 3 special guests that come on this week, and really appreciate you being here. So let's go ahead and wrap up. That's a wrap for this week. Please send your comments, questions, and suggestions to our email address, which is feedback@intouchwithios.com. You can follow us on Blue Sky at In Touch with iOS or Mastodon. You can also support the show by buying me a coffee at intouchwithios.com/coffee. We would really appreciate it. You can become a patron of the show by going to patreon.com/intouchwithios. We have 2 tiers available to support the show. We would really appreciate it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe so you're notified when we are live streaming, which is Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/intouchwithios. Thanks for Cletus and the Winter Bucket being there and others that were watching. Appreciate you being there. You can watch the current and past live streams as well as listen to past shows. Visit In Touch with iOS magazine on Flipboard, where many of the topics we discussed are flipped into that magazine. The link is in our show notes. You can subscribe to our show in your favorite podcatcher, including Pocket Casts, Overcast, Apple Podcasts, many others. But just better yet, just go to our website, intouchwithios.com, where all the links to all the ways to listen to us are on that website. I am Dave Ginsburg. You can find me on Blue Sky and Mastodon at DaveG65. Holden DePardo, thank you so much for being here. It was really a
Thank you
pleasure.
again for having me.
You want to let everybody know where you can find you?
I'm just not really online. I'm I'm an enigma.
Enigma. Okay. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate
That's
it.
enigma@bluesky.com.
Enigma, Blue Sky, right?
That's a great handle, though.
Yeah.
You know it's not there.
No,
You
definitely
know
not.
it's
Yeah.
not there.
And that is Guy Cyril. Thank you, Guy, for being here. We appreciate you coming in here. And where can people find you?
It was nice to be had. You can find me almost every single week at the mymac.com podcast. We're coming up on our 1000th episode. Yeah, Gaz and I have been doing that for a while now. If you'd like to email me, it's guy@mymac.com. And as well, you can find me as Mac Parrot on both the X Twitter thing and Blue Sky.
Great. Thanks, Guy. And Jill McKinley, thank you so much for being here this week. I appreciate it. Where can people find you?
Oh, you can find me. You have my website, startwithsmallsteps.com, and that has a list of all my podcasts that you can find, or you can find me on Twitter or email me through startwithsmallsteps.
Great. Thank you so much. Last but certainly not least, thank you so much, Marty Magenzi, for always being here. You're such a great part of the show. Appreciate it. Where can people find you?
On Tuesday nights with Chuck Joyner as regular there with Mac Voices Live, and of course Thursdays here with Dave. And I appreciate you having me here. You returned the favor last night by joining me on the Old Mac Gang. Not that he is an old Mac ganger, but we were talking about Mac user groups. And it was great to have Dave on because he has such a great history with it. So Wednesday nights with the Old Mac Gang at 9 p.m. Streamed on YouTube and then on all the other services. And then Vision Profiles on Monday nights with Eric Bolden. We stream at 9 o'clock, and we just having a great time with that. I've been having a great time doing the research and finding out stuff about it. And so look for us there at 9 o'clock, Vision Profiles on Monday night or on any of the backup services where you can find the shows.
Thanks again. Appreciate it. And we appreciate you listening, watching, and joining us for this show. We always appreciate it and have a blast doing it. But until next time, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you, guys. What a great show.
Thank you.
Always great to have you, Holden. It was way too long.
Yeah, it's been a while. Well, things got a little messy last year, so you guys know my apartment was robbed, and I had all of my tech was stolen, so I had no way to record or anything.
Oh my God,
so,
you're kidding! I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
And then I had to move, and it was a whole ordeal. And I just got a Mac Mini, so I'm kind of back in.
Yeah.
And he's back.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
back.
back exactly.
Sorry to hear
Yeah,
that.
one of these
Glad
days I'll get some. I'll get a new Mac.
And did we ever determine what microphone he's using? What microphone are
Rode?
you using?
It's a
Rode.
It's a
Rode
Rode.
Procaster. Are you
Yeah, the
using
Rode
it
Procaster,
through a audio interface?
I'm using the iRig.
iRig. Okay.
Yeah. I was working at the Apple store, and I got a crazy discount on it. So I'm not sure if that's a good one or not, or if there's better options.
No, it's fine.
Oh, you sound great.
It's just like a little miniature, because that's a dynamic microphone. So you need some kind of preamp with it. And the iRig, and I can't remember the name of the company that makes it. It's basically powered through the USB connection and provides some. I mean, I don't remember the amount of gain that it provides, but it's certainly enough to power most most decent dynamic microphones. I don't think it would do very well with a SM7B, but very few things do.
And I can't imagine needing anything more than this. And this microphone's incredible.
Oh, you sound
It sounds
great.
Sound good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you see that table behind me, Holden?
Yeah.
Those
Mics.
are all microphones.
Oh wow. Okay, so you know a little bit about a microphone.
Well, I know. I didn't say I know a lot about microphones. I just
It's a
have
disease.
He knows a little bit about buying microphones.
Yes.
It's a disease. It's very much a disease. So
No, I used to do a podcast with a friend, and he's like, okay, we've been doing the podcast for 2 years now. Let's get like good mics. And I'm like, I don't know anything about this stuff. You just tell me what to buy, and here it is.
If you're looking for a good audio interface for it, the Motu M2 is very good, as well as the Arteria. Arteria makes. Hold on.
and he always has it as fingertips.
I do. This is the Mini Fuse 2.
Oh yeah, that's a lot more advanced than what I got.
Oh, this is only like maybe $125, something like that.
That's actually less than the iRig, I think. I think the iRig, when I got it, was like, I mean, I got it on discount through work, but I think it was like 160 retail.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, something
That's
like
nice.
that. Yeah, but this
Nice-
is through the Apple Store, so it probably costs more through the Apple Store. Maybe at like Amazon or something like that, it costs less. But again, I got it on like a 50% discount or something like that as an employee. So
Well, Behringer also makes some halfway decent audio interfaces for much less money.
I
I've
have a
bought two
Scarlett I bought.
Behringers.
Yeah, I had the 204 and the 404. I still have them here somewhere, and they were great. The only problem I had one of the channels go out on the 404, but it didn't really matter because there were three others, so that was good.
I got
Goodbye.